Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen, and welcome to another episode of Bridget's Kitchen. Whereas today we're doing a very exciting, I know I say that every week, but it is exciting. It's an exciting recipe, and the reason why it's exciting is it's a protein breakfast. I call it a lean, mean protein breakfast, and it's one of those recipes that until you've made it, do you realize not only number one, how easy it is to make, but also number two, how tasty it is. So yes, if you've ever thought that it's a weird thing to have chicken for breakfast, I am going to make sure you like this Facebook page, because being part of Bridget's Kitchen means that you will get early access and availability to this website. So that's the first thing, number one thing. Number two thing is I just want to remind you guys that I have a cookbook. The cookbook's called 128 Recipes That Saved My Life, or at least my dinner. Now, if you have come to this video via the FAT program, this particular, I've lost my bookmark. This particular cookbook is a cookbook that I actually released prior to me starting the FAT program. I've now been on the FAT program. I think I'm going on to 9 weeks, and in 9 weeks I've lost 14 kilos, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. But this cookbook was released in February. It is prior to my journey. So in this cookbook I have recipes. I've just opened it up to my honey roasted pumpkin soup. I have recipes that are more for our 80-20 lifestyle. So when you finish the fat journey and you want to maintain your weight loss, this is the book for you. So Coco is about to throw up some, she's thrown up a link underneath the comments, underneath the video there. You'll see a link that directs you on where you can purchase this cookbook. But we have this cookbook coming out, of course. We also have our website that's about to be launched, so keep an eye out for that as well. But let's get into this recipe, because as I was saying, it's exciting. It's chicken breakfast patties. If you would like the recipe sent to your inbox right now, all you need to do is leave in the comments below. Breakfast? No.
Chicken patties.
Chicken patty? No. What is it?
Chicken patty, please.
Oh my gosh, okay, right, there's so many thoughts going on in my head. If you would like the recipe to the video that we're currently doing right now, so the recipe I'm about to do, you need to say chicken patty, please, and you'll get the recipe sent into your inbox, because we are making chicken patties. And as I was saying before, this is about breakfast foods, and if you've ever thought, why would I need to eat chicken for breakfast? One of the main reasons is this is lean protein. So what I have in my bowl here is I'm actually making a kilo, which is about 2.2 pounds of chicken breast that I have in there. I actually made my own mince. So I cut it up, my kilo of chicken breast, and then I put it in a food processor and I process it till it's nice and fine like that. And that is going to be the base of our chicken patty. So that's the first thing. We've got our chicken mince. Look, you can go out and buy chicken mince from the supermarket. My only thought there is you have no control over what type of meat is going, part of the chicken is going into that chicken mince. So it could be quite fatty. So if you can and you have a food processor, I recommend that you buy your own chicken breasts. You cut them up into pieces, put them in your food processor and blend them. It takes like literally 5 seconds. Just buzz it up like that, and you will get this sort of result. I know there's only chicken breast in there. I trimmed off all the fat, so I just know it's chicken breast, so it's really, really nice and lean. So that's the first thing. I have my chicken breast there. The next thing is we need to start thinking about adding flavor to this, because we're going to turn this into little chicken patties, almost like burgers. So in this bowl here, I have garlic and I have ginger. Remember, if you want the quantities, just say below in the comments, chicken patty recipe, and we'll send it out to you.
Chicken patty, please.
Sorry, I got it wrong again. Chicken patty, please. Sorry, guys. Chicken patty, please. So I've got garlic and ginger in there. Now, I did not chop that up by hand. Just in case you're wondering. Just in case you're wondering, I did not chop that up by hand. I actually threw that into my little food processor, because that takes 2 seconds to do, as opposed to me chopping for probably 5 minutes to get to that result. So that then goes into our chicken mince. Now, remember as well that you may be looking at that and thinking, that's quite a decent amount of chicken, of garlic and ginger. But I have enough chicken mince here to make breakfast for me personally for 2 weeks. So this is quite a decent sized recipe. If you don't want to do breakfast for 2 weeks for yourself and have it ready in advance, you could half the recipe, so do 500 grams of chicken mince and you'll be making 7 patties. I've got enough in here for 14 patties. Reason being is because myself and my husband are both on the fat program. So we're both doing fat. That's PHATT. We're both doing fat. So in here, I actually have breakfast for us for one whole week. I'm doing breakfast for a whole week. How fantastic is that? So garlic and ginger has now gone in there. The next thing we have to do is think about the herbs that we're going to be putting in. So the recipe that if you want, which is chicken patty, please. Confusing, chicken patty, please, in the comments. The recipe that I have given you guys has, I believe, 1 cup of chopped basil and 1 cup of chopped coriander. So in here I have my 1 cup of chopped basil. Once again, what I did was I put the basil into my little mini food processor and I blended it up so I get this really consistent cut from the basil. And when you are thinking about making these patties, you need to think about a really consistent cut. And the reason being is that if I had really big pieces of garlic in there and not these really fine pieces, imagine eating that really big piece of garlic and then going to work. Not a great thing for your workmates. That's why we need that consistency. So I've got my basil in there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I actually want to chop up my coriander. And yes, I know there are a lot of you out there that don't like coriander, and I know we've spoken about this before, that for some people coriander tastes quite soapy. So if you're one of those people that do not like coriander, you don't have to add it. What you can do instead is you can replace the coriander with some parsley or some chives or anything, actually any type of fresh herb that you really enjoy. But I love coriander, so for me, you see what I've got here? I've actually got the stalks with the root on it. I'm just going to chop through those stalks really not too fine, but not too rough as well. So I've got my stalks in. Now the reason I'm using the stalks, there is so much flavor in the stalks. I know we're really used to using the actual leaves of the herbs, but there is nothing stopping us. That's why I wanted to demonstrate to you guys. There is nothing stopping us from using the stalks of the coriander, because what that adds is just the most amazing flavor. And also there's a little bit of texture there as well, because those stalks just have a little bit of a bite to them, so that's really nice. So our stalks are in there, but I need more herb. So I'm going to go straight back to my my bunch of, oh, not those ones. I'm going to go straight back to my bunch of coriander herbs, still intact with the root, which is really important because that means we've got a lot of flavor. But I'm going to add some leaf this time. So rather than them pulling the leaves off individually, give them a bit of a fold in, and taking your knife, we're just going to run our knife through the coriander leaves, probably about that much. Remember, if you don't like coriander, don't have to use it. Replace it with a herb that you do like. As I was saying, you could use mint, you could use chives, you could use chervil, you could use tarragon. Pretty much any of those flavors, including parsley, works really well with chicken. But for me, coriander, I mean, if any of you guys have followed my recipes before, you know that I use coriander in abundance because I love it. I think it's fabulous. And I must say, in this particular recipe, it doesn't taste like I've got all this coriander happening there. It's actually not so bad. It's not coriander flavor and exposed like you would expect it to be with that much herb. It's actually very delicate. So we have our herbs in there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Himalayan salt. That goes in as well. Remember, if you want the quantities for this recipe, just say chicken patty please, thank you Coco, into the comments below and we will send that recipe to you. I'm just adding some freshly cracked black pepper is going in there as well. A good grinding, because remember I've got 1 kilo of mince, chicken mince here, so it needs a good amount of seasoning. I'm going to add even a bit more salt to it. Next thing we need to do, you need to think about mixing your patty mixture, which is a pretty simple thing. But one of the questions I got asked earlier on this week online was someone asked me, how long do these patties last once they go into the fridge? And someone, without me answering, come back and said, oh, 2 days maximum because chicken's really dangerous and you can get salmonella poisoning, blah, blah, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I had to agree with them to a certain extent. Yes, chicken is very dangerous and you need to be really careful of raw chicken and cooked chicken. But there is ways that you can avoid and make sure that those instances of you being concerned about chicken are lessened. The main way is that when you start preparing your patty recipe, make sure your chicken is really, really fresh. So buy your chicken from your chicken butcher supplier. Make sure it's really, really fresh. When you are working with the chicken, make sure all your surfaces are immaculately clean. This is really, really important. So you're using clean bowls, you're using clean utensils, your chopping board is clean as well. So make sure all those things are in place. If you do that, and this is what I do normally, is that my chicken patties will last in my fridge for 5 to 7 days, and quite happily. But I am ensuring that my chicken mince is fresh. I'm ensuring that my surfaces are all clean that I'm using to cook my chicken patties, so that we're getting a really clean and really healthy, hygienic result. So we've got our chicken mince there. I've got clean hands, but in saying that, I'm going to go the extra mile here, and there's one glove. I'm looking at Mace, who's behind the camera, because he's the guy who uses all the gloves. There's one glove. We're going to go halfway here. If you're really, really concerned about your chicken, he's smiling behind the camera, guys. I'm telling you, he's smiling because he knows he's the guy that uses all the gloves. He's definitely Mr. Hygiene. I'm telling you, he's Mr. Hygiene. All right, so we've got one glove. Because we've got one glove, we're going to mix with one hand and give it a bit of a squish. You want to mix all those flavors together as well as you can. I mean, look at the green. You know this is going to taste amazing, because we've got all those wonderful flavors already in our bowl. We've got our chicken mince, we've got our herbs, and not just one herb. We're using basil, we're using coriander as well. You could use chives, you could use chervil. But one of the things that I know when I eat these patties every morning, and I really look forward to them, is the flavor hit that you get from the garlic and from the ginger. So this is what your mixture should look like when you've done with it. So you can see there's a lot of herb through there. That's a good thing. Don't be afraid of using those herbs as well. They're actually quite delicious. What we need to do now is we need to weigh them off. I'm going to keep my one glove on. I'm keeping my one, because that's all I've got is one glove. I've got my little scales here, because I need to weigh off my patties. So putting a bit of non-stick baking paper down onto my scales. I'm also going to turn on my little machine here, my little induction, just to get my pan heating up. So I want to weigh these patties off. And for the people on the fat program, we all know that the weight of our chicken patty or our chicken needs to be 70 grams. So I'm going to put that onto my scales. 68. That's pretty good. That was 68. Didn't even think about that. I'll add 2 more grams just because that's 70 grams now. Now, if you're having trouble weighing off your patties, good idea is to get yourself a little bowl of water. Just a bit of water will actually help to keep the chicken from sticking to your one gloved finger, which is fine. But so that's our little patty done, yeah? So let's try that again. What did I say? 70 grams is the weight that we want, which is just over 2 ounces if you are watching us from America. So that goes on. 62, nah, terrible, that was bad. That was not a good 68. 70 grams, remember, a little bit of water, and that just helps to give us that little patty size as well. So that is like that. And I'm going to show you guys how we fry them off very, very quickly as well. I'm taking off my one glove, Mace, just so you know. It's gone. He hates it when I mention his name. That's why I've mentioned it 5 times already since we've been broadcasting this. Alright, so we're going over to here. Mace is going to he's going to move across to our pan. You can see I've got this little haze coming off my pan. So it's around about, turning it down just a little bit, it's around about medium to high, the heat that I want off there. Now, in this pot here, I have Bridgets sticky sauce. See my sticky sauce there? That's what I'm doing. I'm doing a little bit of sticky sauce on top of my patties there. That's all we need. Then taking my little spoon, sticky sauce is on that side. That's the side that goes down to my pan. Sticky sauce is on that side. That's the side that goes down. I'm then going to take just a little bit more of the sticky sauce It's going to help it to cook through just so nicely. You need about 1 teaspoon of sticky sauce per patty. And that's going to give us the colour. That's going to help to give us flavour as well. All those wonderful, wonderful things. And what it means, most importantly, is that we're cooking without oil. So for those of you who have never seen my sticky sauce before, my sticky sauce, number 1, it's sugar-free. Number 2, it's fat-free as well. So all gluten-free, low carb, all those wonderful things. But it basically should be your savior when it comes to cooking, because it's absolutely delicious, and it gives you the ability to cook without oil, which is really important when you're on a low-fat diet. So just have a bit of a, ooh, look at that, just have a little bit of a flip. I'm just squashing it down just a little bit. I can already see behind me, which you guys can't see, is Mr. Husband is excitingly waiting for these patties, because he knows they're for him. He knows, because he's on the fat program too, and it breaks my heart to say this, because he and I are so competitive. But he's been on the fat program for how long, my love? 2 weeks? Under 2 weeks, and he's lost how much? 7 kilos, which is how many pounds? 7 kilos? Lots. So he's really close to his goal weight, and it's taken him less than 2 weeks. And 15 pounds he's lost in 12 days. 12 days he's lost 15 pounds. It's all the food that you guys are experiencing. It's all the food that you see on my Facebook page, Bridget's Kitchen. I'm feeding it to that guy behind you, who you can't see, and he is responding by losing weight. Now here's a little something. He probably doesn't want me to say this, but last night, for the first time since I've known him, I saw his abs. I was just like, are you serious? So, yeah, it works. Let's just say it works. Oh, look at the colour. Macy, you getting that colour? You seen that? How fantastic is that? Don't squish it too much. Just a little mini squish. I'm going to go back to just a little bit more of that, my sticky sauce. Oh, that's a bit of an apple I just stuck on there. A little bit more of my sticky sauce. You don't want to see it. So yeah, I saw my husband's abs. For the first time in our married life, I saw his abs. They are visible. He's going, yes! It was a beautiful thing. It was a wonderful thing. But the results he's having is because we're leading this high protein breakfast. That's what we have for breakfast. We have chicken patties for breakfast. And then we move on to zero fat lunch, which involves, you know, really good lean protein, really good vegetables, and then dinner is more of the same. So what I've noticed since we've been leading this amazing lifestyle is not just the weight loss. That's almost like, it's a bonus. The thing that I'm mainly recognizing from our diet is that the health and vitality that we get is phenomenal. And for those of you who are on the fat program, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a wonderful thing. And for those of you that are competing with your husband like I am, I'm with you, sister. I feel you. I feel you, because he's doing a great job, and it's great to see the abs, but at the same time I'm like, why is it so easy for the guys? Why is it so easy? All right, we are close to being there. We've had our patties in the frying pan for a couple of minutes each, maybe 2 minutes on either side. They're not hard to do. Now that's what I'm going to be having for breakfast. My husband's going to be having the same. I reckon if he's like 12 days into the program and he's already got abs visible, imagine what he's going to be like in another 12 days. I might try and take a sneaky pic and post it to you guys. But this is our recipe for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want the recipe, remember all you need to do is say in the comments below, chicken patty please. Thank you, Coco. Thank you, Mace, for your wonderful one glove moment. And to the rest of you, please continue to watch these recipes. We've got loads more to share. Stay here on Bridget's Kitchen. Upload the recipes. I've got a new recipe being released tomorrow. It's turkey meatballs, by the way. And next week's class, I'm really excited about. It is our soup class. It's getting cold here in Sydney. I'm not sure how it is in your part of the world. It's getting a little bit cold, so we're going to be doing soups. Join me then. Thanks for joining me now. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.